What's up, everyone? Today we're doing a live build of my AI-powered social media content idea system using Make.com, Airtable, ChatGPT, and a really cool tool called RSS.app. The system allows you to constantly monitor various creators in the AI space and then use ChatGPT to generate unique content ideas based on those posts. So, for example, if the system scans a TikTok video about generating images with Google's new AI model, Gemini Flash, it will take that topic and generate 3 more unique ideas, such as 5 hidden Gemini Flash features, Gemini Flash first GPT 4.0, or make $100 a day selling AI-generated product images. Of course, you can modify this system for any niche, no matter what it is you do. So not only can you monitor all of your competitors very closely and have a database full of what they posted, along with a link to the video, a link to their profile, and even a clean transcript, but you can also have new unique ideas based on each of their videos, and you can approve or deny the ideas right within Airtable. So if you guys want to see what the development process looks like from end to end, then stay tuned and you can follow along and build this for yourself completely free. If you're new here, I'm Gavin, and for over 2 years, I've run an AI development agency. I'm here to share everything I've learned with the goal of helping you all build systems with AI and automation, no matter your background. So let's get into it. Okay, so as I mentioned, we'll be using Make.com for the automations, Airtable to store the data, RSS.app for the RSS feeds, and we'll also be using a really cool social media API called Scrape Creators. So make sure you sign up for everything. I'll link these all in the description below. As I said, you can follow along with the free plans on everything. So first off, what is RSS.app? Well, to understand this, you need to first understand what RSS feeds are. Basically, RSS feeds allow you to watch different sources and automatically detect when they post new content. That could be an Instagram page, a Twitter page, a website, a podcast, pretty much anything. Every major news company is going to have this as well. If I were to go look up New York Times RSS feed, it'll pop right up. We can click into it and we can see that they have it broken down by business, technology, sports, and we can go ahead and click on any of these and it'll give us an XML file. So you guys don't need to worry about this yet, but just know that basically RSS feeds will allow us to grab data as soon as a piece of content is posted. Now, what RSS.app allows us to do is allows us to take multiple feeds here and combine it into a single bundle. So let's say we wanted to take 5 Instagram creators and 5 TikTok creators and only watch their accounts. We can combine every single post into one bundle here so that you only get notified for those specific creators when they make new posts. So let's set one up. So again, if we click over here on new feeds, we can see all the presets they have. They even have topics like Elon Musk and Bitcoin. So pretty crazy, the stuff that you can set this up for. For this example, I'm just going to be doing TikTok. So I'll go ahead and click on TikTok here. And then this is where I can enter the profiles for the creators that I want to watch. So I'm going to be doing AI creators. So I'll go grab a few profiles and come back and paste them in. So here's a link to Sebastian Jeffries. I'll just copy this. I will paste it back in here, generate, and in a few seconds, we will have our feed ready to go. Cool, and now we can see all of Sebastian's recent posts, 3 days ago, 6 days ago, etc. It's got the caption, it's got a little thumbnail here for us, and we get even more data when we connect this to Make.com. So I'll go ahead and I'll save this feed, and then I'll just do a few more creators. So I'll add a new feed, TikTok, RPN. I will save him as well. And then I'll just do one more for our example. And I'll do Kane Calloway. And I will save, and now we're good to go. So the next thing you got to do is head over to bundles here and create a new bundle. I will select all 3 of the guys that I just added. And I'll call this the AI creators. We will create. And then just like that, we have only their posts all in this single bundle. So see, we have RPN, then we have Sebastian, then we have Callaway. So super cool. And the important thing here is this link. So go ahead, copy this link. You'll see it's XML, just like we were looking at before with the New York Times. And one thing to keep in mind before we head over to Make.com is that you can do different feeds here based on the source, right? So if you wanted to add Instagram creators or YouTubers or podcasts or anything, you can combine them all into this one bundle. For the sake of our automation, we're going to be using TikTok specifically and some automations with Scrape Creators that actually use TikTok endpoints to get more data. So I'm going to leave this as is. So now if you head over to Make.com, you can create a new scenario, very straightforward. And then we can just look up RSS, and then we're going to watch RSS feed items. Now we can paste that link that we just grabbed and we'll press save. So this is a schedule-based trigger. We'll touch more on that later, but let's choose where to start. So we want to actually get some data. If it does from now on, it's not going to be able to grab that data until somebody posts. So we can go down here and plus select the first RSS feed item. And then we can just grab this guy right here. We can save. Now we can right click, run this module only, and you'll see we can get some data. So this is RPNs. This is the most recent post that's in here. This is really insane, the creative process about ChatGPT's new image model. And you'll see we have the title, the description, summary, and a lot more data down here. Looks like a lot of this stuff is empty. Here we go, RSS fields. So even more stuff, some media content, etc. Cool. So now keep in mind, you are going to have to go in here and choose where to start each time that you want to do a test. Kind of a pain, but super, super worth it. So the next thing we're going to do is actually download this video from TikTok. And to do that, we can use the Scrape Creators API. So let's jump over to Scrape Creators, make sure you're signed up, and you'll have a dashboard that looks like this. If we click on documentation, it's going to take us to all the available TikTok endpoints. So what we want to do is get a video. So if you guys aren't familiar with reading API documentation, don't worry, it's actually super straightforward. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how to set it up in make.com. So we can add a module here, and we're just going to look up HTTP, and we're going to make a request. This is just making a basic request as per the documentation. And as you can see from the code snippet here, this is the endpoint. So I'm just going to copy this guy right here, paste it in. It is a get, so I'll leave that as is. And then we're going to have to add our API key in here as a header. So nice and convenient, your API key should be right here in your dashboard. Just copy that. And then the documentation says that the string required is x-api-key. Let's go ahead and type that in. And all set on the headers. Now for the query strings, we have a few query parameters. The URL is required, and then we have a Boolean for get transcript. Boolean just means true or false, and we're going to say true because we do want the transcript. So I'll add a parameter here, URL, and then we're just going to add the value in from right here. This is the URL that rss.app gives us. And then one more, get_transcript, true. And that's literally it, guys. So now let's go ahead and let's do a test. Again, we have to choose where to start. We will select the first item, grab this guy, and then we'll run once right here. And the Scrape Creator API call does take a second. There we go. And boom. Oops. We are going to want to parse this data. So go ahead and parse response. We'll try that again. I never remembered to do that. Cool. Okay. Now we have a nice clean response here with a lot more data. So that's a great thing about Scrape Creators. It's going to give you a lot of data. Now you'll see because of this transcript here, it's got timestamps. It's a little messy, lowercase. We're going to clean that up with ChatGPT. So let's go ahead and add an OpenAI module. So I'm just going to look up OpenAI. It's already right here for me. And we're going to be creating a completion. To set this up, you just need to grab your API key. You can sign up at platform.openai.com. I'll link that in the description as well. We'll be creating a chat completion. I'm going to be using GPT-4o Mini for this. So you can go ahead and select GPT-4o Mini system. Just going to save on cost, super efficient model. And then for the messages, we're going to add a developer/system. And I'm just going to paste this in. I already have it, but feel free to pause and copy it. So we're just saying you'll be given a transcript, clean it up and remove the timestamps, web, VTT, etc. Format the transcript properly with double spacing between each line. Do not include the word transcript in your response. Return the actual transcript only. If you recognize an error in the transcript, correct it, but only if you're confident and the context makes sense. So I found that this, after a few iterations, ended up working really well. So we'll leave that as is. And then in the user message, all you have to do is actually feed in that transcript, which is right here. For the completion tokens, I'm going to put 10,000. This varies by model, but now we can go ahead and see if all this works. So again, we'll choose where to start, and we'll run once. Cool. So now we can see if ChatGPT did this correctly and look at the result. And yeah, looks like it did double space it. It kept some lowercase, which I don't love, so I might modify the prompt afterwards. So I might say to avoid the lowercase, but either way, this is nice and cleaned up, and we're good to move on to the next step. Now, one thing real quick before we move on, sometimes people post on TikTok and there is no transcript, whether that's photos or just a silent video. So what we can do here is actually add a condition and make sure that the transcript exists. You can go ahead and select basic operators exist. Basically, Scrape Creators will not return this right here, this transcript. If a transcript doesn't come through, you can do a test by actually doing a photo or a silent video, but I already know this, so you guys can go ahead and copy that. And we'll just title this transcript exists. We'll save, and now on to the next step. So now we want to save all this stuff to Airtable, right? So I'll go ahead and create a new base. If you guys can't do that, then you're cooked. I don't know what to tell you. It's very straightforward. And again, you can do this all for free. We'll go ahead and call this the content ideas. And we're going to have a videos table and a ideas table. So the videos is going to save all the videos from our competitors so we can easily see all that in one place. And then the ideas table is going to be the ideas based on these videos. So I'll make another one here called ideas. And let's set up the videos table. So of course, we're going to have the title of the video. We're going to have the author, and this is just going to be a URL. We're just going to link right to their profile. We'll have another URL for the actual video. And then we can actually store this video itself. Script creators is awesome. So I'm going to actually add an attachment here. And we'll call that video. And then lastly, just the script, right? That's why we just made that nice cleaned up script so we can always come back and read it. We'll do long text for that. Cool. So now let's set up Airtable to add this data. So go back in here. We'll look up Airtable. And we will be creating a record here. So go ahead, select the base that you just made, and the table is going to be videos. And now we're going to add in this data dynamically. It's going to come from all the modules that we have beforehand here. So the title, that comes right here. We'll just click that guy. Author, we have at RPN here, and we know that this is the beginning of the URL. So I'll just grab that, throw it right in there. So it's just easier to link right to the profile. The video URL comes right here, RSS fields and link. So we'll grab that guy. And then to add the video, we will just add the file URL. And so for this file URL, this one was a bit difficult to find. So what I actually did was I just went here. I downloaded the output bundles. I copied and pasted this whole thing and I gave it to ChatGPT and I said, hey, where can I actually get the video download link? And then I'll show you guys how to do it real quick. If you just look up watermark, you'll see the download no watermark, and then the URL list, you'll click this one right here. So basically this is the non-watermark HD version of the video. Script creators is going to give you a ton of data, which is really good, but sometimes difficult to actually find. And then lastly, the script, we'll delete this, and that's just going to be the result of ChatGPT. Cool, so we'll press save. We will save this guy as well, and we will try another test. So if all goes well, we should have our Airtable populated with this video. All right, looks like everything worked, and boom, we'll delete the 3 empty guys here, and we'll open this up, and perfect. So we have a link right to the author. That works great. A link right to the video.
Okay, so I just get...
Okay. The actual video right in here as well, which is awesome that we can just store that. And the clean scripts. So this script looks really good. Looks like nothing was messed up, which is awesome. And yeah, at the very least, guys, you'll be able to track all of your competitors' posts, which is super valuable in itself. But we're going to make this even more cracked. So now what I'm going to do is I want to generate 3 ideas based on this post, right? This post was about GPT-4o's new image model, and I want ChatGPT to come up with more ideas so that I can have some more content ideas. So I'll go ahead and add another OpenAI. We will again create a completion. I'll use GPT-4o for this one because it is a bit more important of a task, and I will add my system prompt. So guys, this is going to be quite the system prompt. Bear with me, but I'll read and explain it as we go. All right, so we're asking it to analyze the provided transcript and generate 3 high-value content ideas based on its main themes. Each idea must be in my niche: AI, automation, content creation, making money online, or marketing, and target creators, marketers, and entrepreneurs. Each idea must follow this structure. Idea 1, a specific tutorial, guide, review, or ranking focused on the exact tool or technique mentioned in the transcript. Idea 2, a thought-provoking question, comparison, or alternative approach related to the broader topic. And idea 3, a specific monetization strategy with concrete numbers, case study, or business application. Requirements: use attention-grabbing language, etc., etc. That stuff's not as important. We're asking it to structure a JSON array with each idea represented as an object. We want to have it output as a JSON so that we can add a different idea for each row. So you guys will see that in a second. And then I gave it just some examples of strong ideas, right? So a video about Gemini Flash AI images. I gave it the 3 ideas I mentioned earlier. A video about Runway. Here's some good stuff, right? How to charge $300 per AI video. And so this is just the structure that I wanted to use. You can modify this for anything that you want, whatever you need, your client's needs, etc. And I find the more examples I gave, the better it performed. So I added a bunch of those in there. Examples of weak ideas as well. It kind of spewed out some BS that I did not want to include, like mastering magnificent AI video styles, too vague, no specific tool or benefit, etc. And then lastly, this one thing I had to add was, if the content is not related to my niche, respond with unavailable. For instance, if the content is about a video game, respond with unavailable, as that has nothing to do with my niche. So pretty cracked prompt here. Feel free to copy it or modify it for yourself. And yeah, it works pretty well. And now we'll just add a user in here and we're just going to give it that transcript. So I'll clarify that this is the transcript, paste in the result from our previous guy here. And again, I'm going to do 10,000, the max completion tokens, and we'll save. Now this is going to generate us a JSON, so we're going to want to add a JSON module. I know there is parse JSON in this module, but I just find it better results with this. And we'll add the result in here. Press save. And then of course we want to add in that filter and we want to make sure that it doesn't return unavailable. So I'll add a condition here to make sure the result is not equal to unavailable. So I'm actually just going to do does not contain case insensitive unavailable, right? And maybe it will do it in all lowercase. I don't know. I'll just do ideas found and we'll save. And now before we run this, let's go configure the rest of our Airtable. So let's head back over here and go to ideas. And then we're just going to want to call this the idea. We will add the date in here so we know when it was posted. And then we're going to change this to a linked record because we want to link each idea to a video. We'll just say video. And then for the status, we'll just change the values they have here. And I'm just going to do denied or improved. And we'll save. Now, the last thing to do in our automation here is add another Airtable to create our ideas. So we will again create a record, select our base, and then we'll select ideas this time. And the idea will be coming from our JSON module, which we can't grab the data yet, unfortunately. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to unlink this. Then I'm going to save. Yes, we will save anyway. Then I'm going to go back over here. We're going to choose where to start, select the first RSS feed item, do the same thing that we've been doing. And then I'll just run this once. Yes, I want to run anyway. I don't care. I'm doing this so I can actually grab the data. And sweet. Looks like we have our ideas here, which they actually look pretty good. Our designers at risk, AI's impact on design careers, earn 200 a day with AI guided thumbnail services. Sweet. So now we'll go ahead and connect these. We'll see if I can grab that data. It looks like I can't. Maybe if I add a new Airtable, I can. And cool, now I can grab that JSON. So a little hack there. I'll just delete this guy. I added him before I had data there, so it didn't know how to map it. Now we know. And for the idea, we will just grab that right there. The date, we'll go over to this date guy and just put now. And then for the video, we can just grab the record ID from our previous Airtable module here, and then that's going to actually link it in our base, which is dope. We'll leave the status empty because that's going to be for my review later. We will save, auto align, save this, and let's do a full test. So this time I'm actually going to grab a new one because we just saw the ideas that it generated. Pretty good ideas, but let's see what it does for another video. So I'll just grab this guy right here, this second one. We'll run once, and now we wait. Sweet. So as you guys can see, we have 3 records added to Airtable here. So if you're wondering how that happened, that's what the JSON is doing here. So ChatGPT outputted the JSON with 3 different titles of the ideas. Then this parse JSON module will output 3 different bundles, which will allow us to add 3 different records. Then if we head over here, again, we'll delete these guys. We can see what ideas. So turning images into animations, ChatGPT's secret feature. We can click right here and see that it was based on Sebastian Jeffrey's post. And then we can approve or deny. So let's say we deny this one. Face swap or Ghibli style. What's ChatGPT's best trick? Sure, let's say we like that one. And then profiting with AI face swaps, earn 200 per project. Banger, we'll approve that. And now we have our ideas here. And what I'm actually going to do is create different views. So I'm just going to call this all ideas. And I'll create a new view down here. I'm just going to call this approved. And we're going to filter for only status approved. Nice. And then I'll add one for denied. Filter where status is denied. And then I'll add one more for a needs review. And then we will filter where the status is empty. So then if I go run this again, I will have some more right in my needs review. So since we didn't populate the first one, I'll just do that one again. We'll run once and we'll watch the magic happen. Looks like the ideas worked. And now I have 3 of them in needs review. So here they are. You'll see that they're empty. Boom, transform sketches to thumbnails using ChatGPT. We'll see it's linked to RPN's video. If we go over to videos, we can see I did do a few tests, so I'll delete those. But again, we have the video, the transcript. We never checked out the Sebastian transcript, and it looks really good. Looks literally perfect, which is awesome. And we have 3 nice ideas based on that. If you're getting value from this video, let me know by giving it a like. I'm going to be dropping a lot more stuff just like this. One other thing that's super valuable that I found for myself and my clients is a lot of times we'll be able to recognize which brands are sponsoring these creators, right? So there was some posts by a lot of these guys by Mirage by Captions. And if all 3 of these guys made a post about it, it's highly likely that they sponsored them. And so my clients who are also big AI creators can reach out to them and say, hey, saw you sponsored these guys. Would you be interested in sponsoring me as well? And it's just a really good way to get high intent companies to potentially sponsor your posts. So the only other thing to mention is Scrape Creators does update the documentation often. So it might not look exactly like the request that I made. They actually used to have Instagram on here as well. Then it disappeared and now it looks like it's back. I don't know, but just keep all that stuff in mind. So there you have it, guys. The last thing to do is actually set this on. So we'll go ahead, give it a name. So I'll just call it Watch New AI Creators and Generate Content Ideas. We'll save this. And now the important part is how are we going to set this cadence? So the RSS module is what's known as a scheduled trigger. There are scheduled and instant triggers in Make. Instant means as soon as that post is made, we would be able to get the data. Unfortunately, this is a scheduled trigger, but it's still fine. What I would recommend doing is setting this to run every day. And let's say just run every day at 9 a.m. Boom. And then we save that. And then we'll activate scenario. And now if we back out, save our changes, this will be running every day at 9 a.m. and it's only going to grab new posts that it hasn't grabbed yet, right? So let's say no B posts, then it's just going to return one little bundle here without any data. So it will use an operation in Make, which is how Make charges, but most of these guys are posting every day and it's just going to grab what you need. So this really isn't that bad. And then the only thing that I wanted to do here is add in a max of 10 items. We don't want it to only add 1 item if all 3 of those guys posted and there's 3 new posts. I don't think that they're ever going to go over 10 in a day. So you can just modify this based on the cadence and volume that you're doing. If I were to put this system into work at scale, I would probably upgrade RSS.app. And we actually did do this for one of my clients. I believe we were on the Pro plan here, which gives you 500 feeds. So we had all types of different sources. We had a crazy automation that not only looked for TikTok videos, but also Instagram, YouTube, etc., and populated a whole database that we did a ton of stuff with. So really cool offer if you're interested in running an AI agency like me. And if you're a creator, then this is super powerful because we all know how hard it is to come up with content ideas. So there you have it, guys. Congrats. You now have a database full of your competitors' posts, as well as a bunch of ideas based on their posts. If you want to learn more about building systems like this, check the description down below. And if you're interested in hiring my agency, I'll make sure to link that as well. And take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.